Hey, everybody, it's Tony George along with Sean Salisbury. Be sure and check out Sean on iHeartRadio with the Sean Salisbury Show each and every day. Big time guests, big time raw and unfiltered talk from one of the best sports analysts in the country. Proud to have him here, part of Docs. And we're going to your backyard. Houston Astros taking on Oakland round 2 as they opened up the season against each other. Sean, and I have a question for you. And we'll keep politics out of it, but I noticed that the Rangers had a full stadium. What is the rule of law down there in Houston? That's where your talk show originates. Are they allowing a full stadium here like what the Rangers did?
I imagine if you want. I mean, like they did in Oakland for the in Arlington for the opener.
Yeah.
And they capitalized on it. And listen, however you sit. One thing about it, this isn't whether you believe in it should or shouldn't be, but it is nice to start to see fans back because that means we're getting back to some sense of normalcy wherever you sit. It was great, and the players obviously feed off fans in the stands. Who wouldn't? We do too. 50% should be in the ballpark tonight, Tony. So half, but it will be rocking. It'll sound like a full crowd because they've been waiting on this. Remember, every time they go on the road, they get booed. And you know what? They made their bed and they got to sleep in it, so it's been self-inflicted. But they seem to raise their game, these hitters, with it's the us against the world we've heard many times. But they went in and hammered Oakland in 4 straight, averaged about 8.3 runs a game. I'll tell you this before we go any farther on this. While Billy being the front office, the general manager, he and I were high school rivals in all sports, one of my favorite people and a dear friend. And I can remember when I interviewed Billy a handful of years ago, we were talking about Oakland and about the Boston, and he didn't go. And I said, Billy, one thing, no matter what happens with your situation, and he's obviously one of the best GMs we've ever had, I said, just think about this. In Moneyball, Brad Pitt played you, not Steve Buscemi. So, and Buscemi, great actor, but just to look, you could always say, oh, man, I went to Brad Pitt played me, right? So that's not a bad gig to have in your back pocket, but that ain't going to help his team win tonight. And I love Billy, but 4-0, the sweep. Oakland finally got their first win. They're on a 1-game win streak as they, beat the Dodgers in the late innings they got to the bullpen. The fans have been waiting for this a while. It'll be loud and it'll be exciting. But the Oakland, who was a team that a lot of people picked to win the division, even with losses this offseason, meaning free agent pitching and losing some players, maybe a little overrated going into the season, but they'll hang around. That's typical Oakland. The Astros bats will be alive and well in a hitter's ballpark tonight, Tony.
Yeah, Cole Irvin from Oakland gets to see Houston again. He didn't do very well the first time around. He gave up 4 innings of work. He gave up 7 hits and 4 runs. So he's going to want a second chance. It's interesting, the line movement on this game. As I was emailing Sean a couple of games we were going to talk about, be sure and check our NBA free play on our other free play video today right here on this YouTube channel. But as I was sending that out, you'll notice when I emailed that, Sean, the line was 165. And then Oakland beats LA, and it drops down to 145. The total goes from 9.5 up to 10. So you've got some line movement. I think you've got some real value. Sometimes I look at a line like this. If you take a look at the numbers in this game and see this thing should be minus 180, minus 200 in my mind. First of all, you got an Astros team that's out of their mind hot. They're 5-1 on the year. They get finally to play at home. This is their home opener. They're going to have people in the stands. They're going to be cheering them on. They're going to feed off that, as you alluded to, Sean, having fans back in the stands or fans at venues. Jordan Spieth, who won the Texas Open last week, commented having a gallery around there. He fed off of that, and it kept him going in times of adversity during his round. And teams feed off of that, Sean, and I think that's a big plus there. But I want to throw these numbers out at get your feedback. If you take a look at the numbers, Houston, the number 2 offense in Major League Baseball, versus the number 30th ranked offense in baseball. And defensively, Houston, number 4, Oakland, number 29. They just swept them 4-0. I think they've got a better pitcher on the hill tonight with Avier. I could be wrong, but when it comes to the hitting and to get a team with these numbers as hot as they are in a home opener, at under minus 150 to me screams value, but also gives me a little hesitation.
Yeah, Tony, you make a great point. I just don't know how, unless you pitch a gem, that coming home at first, and they'll be jacked up, and they may swing at a few pitches early, meaning the Astros, because they're so fired up, right? But
Right.
once they settle in, you think about it, when you roll Altuve out there, followed by now, which would normally be Brantley, and maybe I haven't looked at today's lineup. They usually let it out a little later, but he's been off. But he was the hottest player in the league before he hurt his wrist, but fortunately it wasn't long. Then you roll to Bregman. Then you got to go to Jordan Alvarez, and then you get to Correa, and then you get to Kyle Tucker, who's tied for the league in home runs or leading with 3 already, and then you get to Yuli Gurriel, who's in the 7 hole. It's just relentless. You can't breathe a sigh. You know, there's no place where you say, "Oh, okay, I know how to pitch this guy." So they're so good at attacking pitchers. And if you get down early, the chase mode's tough. Now, the Astros have a really good bullpen. Keep an eye on Christian Javier tonight. I think in his opener, he was 4 innings. About the length of him, he's a 2-pitch guy who's young but really, really solid with 2 pitches. The question is, when you get to the third part of the order, does Oakland start to creep back in? But the Astros bullpen, underrated. But you've got to early in the season, too, Tony, as we pick these throughout the year, we will keep an eye on bullpens because I'm concerned this year about people lengthening their bullpen where they wear them out too much. You got to get, fortunately, Greinke went 7 innings the other night, which allowed them to, and then Presley came in and closed it out with the last 2, only used 2 pitchers. So keep an eye on that. But the bats, I think, are going to be too much. I like the Astros, and I like the over in this because I think you're going to have a hard time getting out. And if you don't get out early, they jump on early pitches and even though Springer's not in the lineup, Altuve loves to be a first ball hitting guy. You throw one right down there, and wouldn't it be fitting for him to lead off the homestand with a home run? I respect Oakland. The bottom line is the Astros are better and they're playing better. I would look for a lot of runs in this game, and I would look for a lot of energy. And if Javier gets to 5 innings, their bullpen's been pretty good. I like Houston in both areas tonight.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with you simply because there on Tuesday you went 2-0 with your picks. Actually, 3-0 if you throw in the side and total on the bonus 2 for Tuesday. So I'm going to agree with Sean here. The line movement going down almost 20 cents on the dollar kind of concerns me because but I'm trying to find, where the weasel in the woodpile is. It's just not there. I just think it's a little bit of overreaction by odds makers at Oakland beat the Dodgers last night, the almighty Dodgers. But then again, don't forget, they got to go on the road now and play a team in a home opener. That's kind of the great equalizer in my mind. I do think you'll see some offense here too. Sean Salisbury, folks, don't forget to check him out on iHeartRadio on the Sean Salisbury Show. Take advantage of the free $60 we got for you. The link in the description below. Come on over to Doc Sports and get yourself some winners. Sean and I will be back on Friday with some more free picks for you and a look ahead on the weekend. Thanks for tuning in.